Okay, let's move on to Desperate Times, which my nostalgia reliably informs me that this is the best scenario in the game. This, of course, is the RPD. This is going to be the most nostalgic one because, Steve, as you just mentioned, the Hive from Outbreak 1 is set in the same hospital from Resident Evil 3, but you mostly spend time in new rooms and occasionally go through a couple of places where you're like, oh, I know where I am and how this connects now. Whereas Desperate Times, there isn't any new rooms. It is just the RPD that you know. But yeah, now you're in a 3D version of the space. This is the scenario where the survivors sort of interact with the RPD officers who are held up here with the zombie horde that's about to come in. It takes place, I guess, a couple of days before Resident Evil 2. You get to see Marvin, you get to see Rita, you get to see the escape from the RPD underneath the statue, which was obviously then used in Remake 2. Yeah, I've got a lot to say about this one, but so ergo I won't go first. James, how do you feel about Desperate Times?
So one thing I was begging for with these games actually was like a real feeling of cooperation and continuity. Like Below Freezing Point in File 1 attempted it, but its execution wasn't that great. I don't think we liked it very much. But Desperate Times really succeeds. Like you all spawn at different locations in the RPD, first of all. So that's immediately wham, you hit with that nostalgia. It's incredibly familiar to us as Resi fans. And not only that, but you have to work together to meet each other, and then you have to work with each other to so you can gather plates. To do you push things and you do things so you can make things easier on yourself, so then you can give plates to Rita and Marvin so Rita can get back up. Like, it felt so well put together. Like you and the big thing, and again the continuity comes in it, you are the precursor to the beginning of RE2. Like, such a great idea. And it even gives you the origin of Marvin Branner's bite on top of it as well. Like, and it's not like it's not like a big deal. You just walk out the door and you see Marvin get bit in game. Like, it just felt very immersive. I loved that. That's what I wanted to see more of. This level, it felt very well put together and complete out of all of these scenarios.
Yeah, perhaps the best example of connective tissue in Outbreak. I wouldn't want them all to be like this. I should state that much. I wouldn't want them all to tie so closely to somewhere we know or events we know. But it should be said that it's a massive success in the way that it does do that, absolutely. Steve, how do you feel about Desperate Times?
Tentpole scenario of the entire mission pack. It does a lot of things right that require multiple players to do, or a lot of legwork for one player. You've got a nice classic Resident Evil multi-item puzzle to solve, followed by and actually really before like your Nazi zombies and the zombie horde preparation sequence, even involving wooden boards. It's surprisingly very, very, It leans into the fact that a lot of the players will know the RPD by the back of the hand and tries to sidestep that by throwing in random nerve gas blasts at you. But otherwise, pretty good, pretty solid. The only thing I would argue is kind of strange is, and I said this multiple times when we were playing it, the FMVs are always about the RPD officers and not the characters themselves.
Yeah.
Like, we are just side characters in their story, and there's 4 coppers that are doing the dialogue, so... Well, it's Marvin talking mostly, and then Rita going, and 2 goons just standing there going, oh, no, I just work here. Why you're not playing as them instead is a shame. I feel like this is the one scenario where you just play as characters from the place, not like, you can still do Alyssa's moves or Kevin's moves, Cindy's moves. I mean, Kevin can still be here. He works here, god dang it. But that feels like a missed opportunity to be actual characters in the place when they needed to be.
Hey, I mean, we're going to probably play this again at some point. We just have to do a run because you can unlock all of them, I'm sure. We just have to do a run like that, definitely.
Dibs on Rita, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
My favourite moments of this is, obviously, there is basically 2 portions to the scenario, isn't there? There's the gather the plates scenario, and then there's prep for the attack. And we were like, first time around, we were playing on easy, so we thought we were okay. Second time around, we bump up to normal. We get battered by the zombie horde. and then we do the numbers and do the math. Proper Leroy Jenkins moment. We realised we did the first time, so we had to prepare. And we were like a well-oiled machine. Get the planks, go here, unlock this, grab the magnums. And it still was a close-run thing.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, great example of normal being hard. Like, it was down to the wire. And for those that might not have played Outbreak, because I know it's games that people have interest in that don't necessarily have the experience in, just for the extra info there is, yes, once you've put these plates in that you have to find around the RPD, you get a moment to prepare, and all the other police officers at this point have died, and you can find their bodies and find loot on them. And one of the pieces of loot that you can find is the padlock key, which gets you on the roof of the RPD. There's the area where you normally put the valve handle in Resident Evil 2 Classic. There's a bunch of wood planks in there, which you can then use to push against the actual gates of the building, which to buy yourself more time, the more planks you put in, the longer you get. Which, yes, then you can then go get a bunch of stuff. Like you guys have mentioned, there's stuff that you can do to help each other out. Oh, I'm going to make sure I've pushed the item box, which is part of a puzzle in this game, back through to the other side of the room so that someone can climb it with the safe key that they found in the kennel to get an extra magnum or some extra magnum rounds or whatever it is. We're going to go here and scoop up all the files and give them to Ben, all the film reels, and he'll give us more loot and stuff like that. So yeah, you're maximising your time to get as much loot as possible. We really only missed a few magnum rounds, I think, and it was still incredibly tight. I think one or two of us left with ammo when we did it on normal and actually beat it. So yeah, it was hard, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the gas, as you guys talked about, the random sprays of gas that puts your virus meter up, obviously that makes no sense. Chief Irons put that in there to deter terrorism. It's just stupid, but it is simply a gameplay device, and it's fine enough. But if you've got enough people, one of you will always be carrying the device to immediately switch that off, so that works. And yeah, it's a great scenario for, as one of those hub ones, as the RPD is a hub, everyone assigning themselves a role. James, what you were saying about there's not enough to do in Wild Things, yeah, you get dropped into a room in the RPD and it's like, okay, I'm going to grab this one because it's the closest one to me. I'm getting this. And then you all kind of meet up to the point. It's like, okay, what do we have left to do? Oh, we'll go this way. You guys go down into the basement or whatever and grab this. I loved all of it. And the fact that it's got all these different steps throughout it that change it up to getting to the point where it's a horde battle at the end. Definitely the best scenario in the game for me. Yeah, the variety.
Leave a plate. We need to go into this wing yet. That kind of level of communication you don't get on the other scenarios.
Yeah.
So many micro objectives. It makes it feel more Resident Evil than all the others. At least on this disc.
Yes. This is the closest to, for example, Decisions, which we had a lot of praise for, as feeling like a miniature slice of Resident Evil. This, much more miniature, doesn't take nearly as long, but it feels like it's got all those core elements that you want out of a really short blast of Resident Evil, really. And the enemy varieties, I guess it's fine. Do you fight dogs in this? I don't. Yes, I think there can be some in the kennel in the basement and stuff. There's zombies,
a licker,
crows, and the pathetic licker. But that's the only minor thing, is that there's a lack of a big boss. It's just that horde battle, but it does work, and it connects perfectly with the story, really. So it's not really a complaint.
40 zombies are strangely a harder boss fight than a G mutant or an elephant or a giant leech or a giant megabyte. So if every boss fight in these games had that level of you need to be prepared, you need to get all the weapons together, it would have been slam dunk. But somehow 40 zombies clear them.
Apparently so.